ask a few questions. Sorry. What
Oh,
is your local disability user group's name?
so we're Swan Hill Discoveries.
Sorry?
Swan Hill Discoveries.
Oh, sorry, Swan Hill Discoveries.
Yeah. Yeah, just give me a moment. Some, I've got some Zoom window open at the moment, which is blocking the camera. So just give me a moment. I'll try and sort this out.
That's okay.
That's right.
It's got a workplace Zoom workplace AI companion window across everything. So like
Oh yeah,
you've
I had that
disappeared.
too. So annoying.
So the only way I can move it is I have to leave the meeting.
Oh,
So let's
Jump
hang
back
on.
in.
I'm just
you
going to
can leave and
cancel.
rejoin if you need.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
dear,
fine. But we can see
that's
you actually.
yeah. So I can't see anything because I've got this workplace Zoom
Oh, you
thing
can't see.
across my
Okay.
screen. So I'm gonna have to. Oh, I'll just workplace Zoom. What's it mean? Enter email or phone number. I'm like, okay.
It doesn't have a little
Oh,
X or anything anywhere.
um,
He's gone.
I
Oh,
had that
rejoin.
AI thing too. I just minimized it.
Yeah, I had that too. So weird.
It's so annoying, isn't it?
So annoying. I don't know what it is.
It was
Everything's
nice
got
of him to
AI
come
with it
early
now.
though.
So Chris is part of the Echuca Discoveries group that the council lady was talking about. He
Ah,
he he's yeah. Looks like he's coming back on. Um, yeah, he's the coordinator of all the singing and dancing, and they are totally
oh,
amazing.
for God's sakes.
Cool.
How'd you go?
It's done the same thing.
Oh,
Well, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Well, I can. Yeah.
and can you see us?
You can't see
No,
us,
it doesn't
sorry.
I
really matter
cannot.
if you don't
I
really
don't
need
think
to
it
see our
matters.
faces anyway.
Yeah, and
You're not missing
if
out on much.
anything, yeah, and if it helps, you can just minimize everything else.
Yeah. So you can still see me now. I've got a blank screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Oh
see
Ah,
you
Yeah.
fine.
yeah, we can see and hear you good.
We can see you.
Something. And where I'm at the moment too, we're here at Swan Discoveries, we've got really poor actually coverage in the building,
Oh,
Oh,
and I'm
it's
actually using.
actually it's really bad everywhere today. We've had trouble out at Hope too.
Must be the weather.
yeah.
Mm, yeah.
So Chris, you're a coordinator. Uh,
Yeah,
Is that
so I
right?
deliver I deliver the performing arts program. So
Okay.
first and foremostly, I'm a support worker, and
Yep.
now it's asking me to answer my name. This is the first time it's done that, which is good. Getting somewhere. Yep. Uh,
Can you hear
Rightio.
us?
I can. Yeah. Yeah, I've just got all
Mm.
sorts of things coming up. Now I've got the Work Zoom app coming across everything as well. So I don't know. This is I've not experienced this before. Meeting Chris. Oh, yeah.
Well, we
Um,
have the next question coming up.
I'm actually yeah. Go on.
Okay.
Happy to go.
And so do you mind if I get your last name?
Yeah, Chris Lay.
Lay?
HY?
Lahy.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, great. And how would you describe your role?
So I'm a support worker at Swan Discoveries, and my role in Swan Discoveries, one as a support worker, is of course to be a bit disability support, but I've been brought on board to deliver a performing arts program, which includes performing arts, dance, singing, all that sort of thing for the dramatic arts and performing arts. Yes.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
But I also have other roles too. I mean, I've got other skill sets that I bring to the organisation. So I'm actually a qualified sports coach, and so I utilise those skill sets in also providing sporting programs and outcomes for exercise and that sort of thing as well.
Great.
Nice.
Okay. And the next question, outline the local disability user group and how they are involved in physical activity.
Oh, good question. Yeah. So obviously through the program that I deliver, we have a dance component and a movement component in that. So if I can just make segment that, so part of our program is dedicated towards dance and choreography and dance and movement, and so there's a certain amount of exercise we get through that. Uh, we also deliver either through collaboration with or myself, will deliver also programs to um, increase physical activity. So, for example, just recently I've just completed a 5 week program for indoor soccer, and we've had participants from the Swan Discoveries, from Vivid, from any other organisations who have accessed that program through a network through Melly Sports Assembly. So that's how we've may put that into play and deliver that program.
Oh, great. That
Okay,
sounds really
yeah.
cool.
All right, moving to next question. Question: identify two strengths the local disability user groups or club has.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Identify two strengths the local disability user group has. Did
Well, some of the strengths that we have is one, we're local. We're actually here in Swan Hill. We're not from elsewhere or from we're not an outpost of an agency in say Bendigo or Melbourne. We're actually located locally, and we network through Echuca Discoveries, which is where this organisation branched out to be its own entity, Swan Hill Discoveries, and we're now also branching out to Bendigo to have Bendigo Discoveries. So, but we all network together and we collaborate together also. So that's a strength.
yes,
Um, I
yes,
think also we have uh, and the short time I've been here, which is less than 12 months, I've seen that we have a little bit of diversity of activity within the organisation here on site at Swan Hill, and I think it's pretty attractive. And I think the feedback we're getting through our clients and through their supports indicates that there's the diversity of activities is attractive. They're impressed with the fact we have performing arts, and that's something quite different. We know other organisations haven't or don't do that, and we sort of heard. We took some of our performers to Portland last year, and we performed at Tri-State Games, which we collaborate with in terms of physical activity. There's another organisation that we collaborate with,
yeah,
and we put that on it as a showcase. And I think we had about 400 uh, guests there at that particular function, a gala dinner, and it certainly attracted a lot of conversation, or sorry, attracted a lot of interest in how we're delivering it and how we managed to do this and all that sort of thing. I was really encouraged by that. I didn't think that this was something that wasn't done extensively, but clearly it's not. So I'm really delighted to actually be part of
yeah, that's
something quite
awesome.
new.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
moving to next one. Identify two weaknesses or issues faced by the local disability user group.
Well, number one, weakness,
Weakness,
if you could
yeah.
call it that, or a disadvantage. I use it as a disadvantage. Is
Disadvantage, yeah.
funding is very hard to attract
Mm,
into the programs that we need to deliver,
yeah.
and more now than in the past. And I haven't been in this organisation long enough to really give an extensive review, but certainly in my experience in the short time I've been here, I noticed now we're aligning with the NDIS. Funding's becoming more restricted, and so to fund and to have our clients with enough funding to participate in programs, for example, the performing arts program or a sporting program like Tri-State. Uh, they're all on the borderline with having no funding. So there are the two. If I could say the two weaknesses, there we are. We can't attract enough funding, and now we've got increasing restrictions through the way the NDIS is actually meted out now. And
Yeah.
that's become an issue with our compliance. We're now becoming compliant with NDIS, and now we're finding that, wow, this is actually a really difficult maze to navigate, actually. So,
Yeah,
and
it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're the two things I could probably say are a weakness. Yeah.
Chris, can you outline the priorities the local disability group have for increasing participation and engagement in physical activity for people with a disability?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, if I could reflect on my program, or the program that I'm delivering to the clients here at Swan Discoveries, that is becoming a priority because it's clearly something that's needed. But also, we have an outreach, and that outreach is we take that program into aged care facilities, like Hope, for example. We've been
Sure
there
do.
a couple of times now. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and so that is greatly received, and we just see there is a really important thing or demand to be met, or something that um, uh, we can enhance, or we can uh, improve, say, the lifestyle of people who are residents in aged care facilities.
Yeah.
We can add to their entertainment, and we think that's a really intrinsically a very important thing for our elderly residents in aged care facilities. So that's one priority. The other priority is increasing participation in all ability sports, like the programs I deliver to clients across a couple of, or two or three or four different agencies like Swan Discoveries, Vivid, um, uh, 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 Finding Hope. There are others too which come along, and also Tri-State. Tri-State is all about participation between the broader community across three states: South Australia, Victoria, and New South Wales. So the sorts of things we encourage the participants to be involved in is just being involved. As simple as beanbag throwing through to track and field events and those sorts of things. So that as part of our organisation is a high priority. We want that to be part of our profile, showing or demonstrating that all our participants who have a range of challenges, physical, intellectual challenges, are all involved in and feel that they can be in these sorts of activities. Yeah.
Identify the partners/networks/resources available to support these priorities being achieved.
Okay, so resources. Well, networking is something that I can speak to quickly. We network with Mallee Sports Assembly. We also network with Tri-State. Uh, so they're some of the networks that that are very successful in terms of partnerships and networks. Um, so we also, as best as we can, try and network with other support agencies like Vivid. They're in town and they're in Kerrang, for example, in our locality. So we we have to sort of do that because there's a bit with choice with our clients having that choice and being able to control their own, I guess their destiny and their activities, that we have to collaborate with these organisations, because we often have people from our organisation going to other organisations, and same, we get the same coming back. So it's important that we keep those sorts of networks, I guess, open and communication clear, even that's really difficult sometimes. And even in our own organisation, communication is always challenging.
Mm,
Things are
mm,
very fluid, change daily,
mm,
depending on weather, depending on whether there's a spate of
mm.
illnesses, flu, those sorts of things. You can find yourself in the morning ready to go to work, and all of a sudden things have changed very quickly. So
Do you
you
get
have
much
to be very.
support from, sorry, do you get much support from the local council in running your activities and programs?
Yeah, we do. So at with the most recent program that I delivered to Swan Discoveries and to Vivid and Finding Hope, and the council have actually found funding to pay for the use of the venue. For example, the stadium here in Swan Hill. So
Yeah.
you typically have to pay for that.
Mm,
So the stadium manager and Manly Sports Assembly and us have been, working together
mm.
to
Great.
have that support in terms of funding there. So yeah, that's right. That's something that
Fantastic.
has been, I think, a thing for them. And speaking with the stadium manager, she has indicated that they want to continue that, and she will be seeking more support and funding for the next program that will be delivered into that venue there from
Mm,
from who brings it in. I think it's a different sport again. We try and rotate the sports. So I think next sport will be volleyball, I believe. So and they're
Wonderful.
good.
seeking funding to do the same again, what they've done for netball, for the soccer. Yeah. So that's
Mm,
been a really good partnership, I suppose,
mm.
with council, recognising that it's really important that one, the stadium be used, and that they're supporting, Mallee Sports Assembly and agencies like Swan Discoveries to use the stadium.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Mm.
Awesome. Could you please establish whether a new leisure-based or health-based program that caters specifically for people with disabilities is a priority for you guys?
Yeah. So at present, even though I'm not specifically involved in all of that program, there is a swimming program on Mondays, uh, and also a fitness program that is run out of the leisure centre here in Swan Hill for those who wish to participate in that style of fitness and health activity. Then shortly after that is then a swimming program that is conducted on Monday mornings. So that has a bit of a twofold thing. It's encouraging health and fitness, um, and we also utilise that time also to start training for tri-state games. So that's only just commenced now. This training for tri-state games, and along with that, we're where possible, we'll continue our outdoor activities in a location to facilitate, training for track and field.
Mm.
Awesome.
And
Great.
we may do that, yeah. So we may do that down at Harrison Reserve. I'm not certain how the conversations have gone so far with the athletics club, but that's something that has been mooted. Yeah.
Great. Could you please identify some of the issues that you guys may have experienced when planning or implementing new community programs for people specifically with disabilities?
Right. So I guess the challenges that we meet um, is promotion, I suppose, and getting the word out, and effectively communicating what the program's about. Um, so I know at the moment, for example, with the Performing Arts program, I'm speaking with the directors of Swan Discoveries on more effective ways to attract um, uh, clients and attract funding, and also, I guess, communicate to that those user groups who don't know that we've got this of the benefits of getting involved in something like that. So they're the challenges. It's just communication, time. We're as support workers, disability support workers, we're always um, uh,
Mm.
running around with very little time
Yeah.
to uh, properly plan, um,
Mm.
because it's a very interesting conundrum you have. The time you need is time that's not funded. And
Mm.
it all gets down to funding, and it's a very fine line. And I don't begin to understand the accounting that needs to go into place. But fair to say, I have a son with a disability, and I know you if I was to undertake to manage the funding and communication, I kind of need like a degree in, event management
Mm.
or accounting. I feel very much out of my depth, even though I'm well qualified
Mm.
I've been in the university education, but I find it's a really it's, a significant challenge, is just getting the right amount of time to adequately communicate and promote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do our best.
That would be hard. Um,
We hope you
Chris, could
guys can
you?
spread the word.
We'll do our best. Chris, could you?
I know, with some of the outings we've had and the exposure we're having at, say, for example, aged care facilities like Hope Aged Care. There's been a lot of great community talk and feedback about that, and that I think you can't buy that type of coverage. You can't buy that type of promotion. I think that's what we need to do. We need to be out and about. We need to be on the streets, kind of thing, and that's I think how it works best.
Well, you've just given me a
Chris,
great idea. I think we need to get Hope Aged Care and Swan Hill Discoveries in the news. We will talk
Yeah, that's
further on
right.
it,
It's
Chris. Mm.
Social media's just doesn't cut it. I mean, we do a lot of social media
Mm.
stuff, but I don't know how much traction that has. I'm not actually a Facebook user myself, so I'm, more of an Insta guy.
Yeah, we'll work on it. Mm.
Yes, yes.
something's good's got to come out of this, doesn't it? Okay, can you identify two individual or private issues that
Definitely, I have where this whole program's going, and yeah, and I feel that with the right amount of exposure and contact. I guess it's all about contact. We're making contact with the aged care facilities. I know with Hope Aged Care, that level of contact, and regular contact, I think will
Mm.
will ultimately be an awareness that people go, oh wow, because I'm hearing a lot of feedback from people who
Mm.
aren't involved with aged care facilities. And, oh, they may be family members, and there's talk in the community. People see us also performing at things like Harmony Day, which we did,
Mm.
and we've done the carols in the park, and they're the sorts of marquee events that we want to be at, because it showcases and shows that we're actually doing something, and something meaningful, I guess enriching people's lives, whether they are watching or participating.
Mm. For sure.
Yeah, which brings us to our next question, Chris. Are
Yes.
there any individual or private issues that people with disabilities might have with access to participation in physical activities?
When I think about the clients that I'm involved with, and each of them have their personal challenges, whether it's transportation, even though we offer as part of our uh, the service that are part of Soil Discoveries, transportation. But each of the clients has individual personal challenges with just simple transportation.
Yeah,
Um, uh, on a more interpersonal level, relationships, and because we deal with a wide variety of people with a number of challenges, that we have, there are conflicts, and you have to resolve them, and we have a broad range of methods and I guess pathways to manage behaviors, manage conflict, manage disappointment, and
yeah,
all that sort of thing. So I guess there's some of the personal individual challenge we have. I mean, for me personally, I also have a some of the disability, and so I have to manage that. And he also participates in the programs that are offered by Swan Discoveries. That's something for me, and I think I speak with a lot of authority on that because as a parent, but also someone who's delivering a program, also someone who's trying to uh, uh, provide a program that is meaningful. I really have I'm really invested in that. I'm invested in making sure that whatever I'm involved in or whatever I do or the interactions I have with my clients is meaningful and enriching, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. So on that note, then, do you see a willingness of people with disabilities to engage in the public processes to bring about that change, like mainly to facilitate the move from their private concern to bring it into public action? Is there a willingness there, or are they more,
There is a willingness, but it also comes with a lot of education and encouragement. And and those skill sets, those soft skills alone, are even challenging for support workers to
yeah,
um, enable or facilitate. So there are there is a willingness. I think if you bring satisfaction or is satisfaction is a result of participation, I think then becomes a willingness. Um, uh, but if we were to stand and speak to clients, you know, without them being properly engaged or having them have a decision in choice and control, because that's what we really aim to achieve is giving our clients choice and control. Then
yeah,
that if we don't do that, we won't have that willingness. And I think that's what we have to really work hard on every single day that we are engaged with our clients and with delivering programs, and also I suppose in educating the public as well to get them to see what look in to see what's happening.
mm,
And that can only happen through programs like going out, having outreach programs to aged care facilities. I think that's been a really, I think a process that I can't put a value on. It's it seems to be something that if we don't do it, it would be a disappointment for our clients who participate in a program like this performing arts program. We have to have an outcome, and I think once we map that out for them and through conversation, enjoyment, engagement. I think that's where that whole engagement thing and the willingness is, I think, works hand in hand. If
right.
I think that if it makes sense enough.
Yeah, this was more
Mm.
about willingness to facilitate their private concerns, like you said, transport was one of their issues. To public action, like is
Mm.
there would they talk about like their frustrations or something and facilitate the council or someone like if, for
Oh,
instance,
okay.
they can't just
Sorry.
access, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I understand. Yes. So, well, yes, that happens. That does happen on a daily basis, and once again, it depends on how they wake up in the morning, depending on how they want to and their willingness to share publicly their concerns.
that would
But
be very hard for
that's
them to do, isn't it?
that's part of our charter is to actually facilitate that level of personal interaction with their concerns. And I think we probably subconsciously do that as support workers, where we spend time, take
Yeah,
the time to work through some of the issues because it's quite complex. It might be something as simple as that I had trouble getting into the van today, but and behaviour manifests in a way that we don't know what's actually happened until we start having a conversation in a time that where they're not triggered or where they're not um, whether they're not overwhelmed or whether the the sensory environment is not to their liking. So it just takes a lot of time, and sometimes you spend a lot of time in a quiet space, or recognizing, where how best to extract those concerns where they can express that publicly. But yes,
Yeah,
Mm.
to that point, absolutely, it happens on a daily basis, and we
yeah,
often have to modify things.
yeah,
We often have
Mm.
to modify things and be ready to act, whether to whether it's a noisy environment, for example, or whether they're not feeling comfortable in a position on a transport vehicle, like in a bus or on a train, for example. So they're the sorts of things we have to navigate through with them on a daily basis.
I've also
right.
noticed, Chris, that you have some real warriors in the team that stand up and absolutely support anyone in the team, in the group who might need a little bit more direction, or there's some absolute warriors that I can see in that team that will have no trouble. Once they have a pathway and support, they will express their concerns and want to bring about change.
There are, and that's a really great observation, Donna. That
Mm,
that is I guess a I think an undiscovered or an untapped, not undiscovered, but untapped
yeah,
resource is that
untapped.
peer support. And
Yeah.
we are always wanting and encouraging that type of
Mm,
support
mm,
within their peer group,
yeah.
or within the activity group, to support each other.
Yeah.
And quite often they uncover things that we miss.
Mm,
Um, um, that they know more about what's happening with them, in a personal sense. And that question we had just prior, that there is a very interesting outcome for some of the things where, they may encourage each other to speak up publicly about
mm,
something that they're
mm,
not happy with, whether it's
mm,
whether it's the way they're interacting with support workers,
mm,
whether it's the environment they're in, whether it's the food they're eating even. So yeah, that's a interesting observation you've made, because I
mm,
think I've noticed something very similar. And when we move around to different venues performing,
mm,
and one thing or another, there's something that's different. I think the last time we visited Hope Aged Care, we had one of our members who
mm,
was really
mm,
unnerved by something, and that was
yeah.
something like one of our participants who wasn't present at the time,
Mm,
and the other participant, he was upset by that, and he
mm,
wasn't willing to participate. But there was a lot of encouragement. They all recognised that something's wrong. It was very unusual, actually,
mm,
and
mm,
and that the group sort of energized and
yep.
bonded together to try and resolve
Mm,
that without too much
yep,
uh,
for
too much
sure.
too much I guess
Mm,
inaction from us.
mm,
We're there to support them, but some of that support comes from within the group itself. Yeah,
yeah.
great observation, Don. Thanks for
Mm,
that.
That's awesome. Um, I think that brings us to the end of our questions. Thank you so much, Chris, for
mm,
Sure.
your very honest and informative interview. We learned a lot, and it was lovely
yeah.
having this conversation, which wasn't just an interview, but also like a discussion and you telling us your
Yeah.
stories and your observations. So thank you so much for that.
Mm,
Well, thank
mm,
you for the opportunity. I hope this comes about again, not in the not too distant future. I think
mm,
there's an important um, field to plow, if I can use that term.
mm.
No,
Yeah.
Thanks so
absolutely. And
much,
I hope
Chris.
networking helps.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Well,
Thank you very
thank you,
much.
everybody,
All the
Bye.
best.
I look forward to our next in action. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
Okay,
you.
you.
thanks. Thanks,
Bye.
Chris. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.